Hey there, science fans. Ever stop to think about how you breathe? It's pretty amazing when you break it down. We've all got this built-in air freshener called the respiratory system, and it's working hard every single second of the day. Yep, even when you're asleep, this system is busy swapping out old air for fresh, keeping you going strong. Pretty cool, huh? Now you might be thinking, air freshener? That's a weird way to put it, Bill, but stick with me here. Just like an air freshener gets rid of funky smells, your respiratory system takes out the air your body doesn't need anymore, we're talking carbon dioxide here, and replaces it with good, clean oxygen. It's a whole lot more complicated than that, of course, but that's the gist of it. So, what are the key players in this whole breathing business? Well, we've got the trachea, which is a fancy word for your windpipe. Think of it like the highway for air, taking it from your nose and mouth all the way down to your lungs. And speaking of lungs, those are the real stars of the show. You've got two of them, one on each side of your chest, and they're basically like big squishy sponges. But don't forget about the diaphragm. This dome-shaped muscle sits right below your lungs, and it's the powerhouse that makes breathing possible. When you breathe in, your diaphragm contracts and flattens out, giving your lungs more room to expand and fill up with air. Then when you breathe out, it relaxes and goes back to its dome shape, helping to push the air back out. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah, breathing keeps us alive, big whoop, and you're right, it does. Without breathing, our bodies wouldn't get the oxygen they need to function, and that would be a major bummer. But here's the thing. Breathing does so much more than just keep us alive. Think about it. Every time you take a deep breath, you're not just taking in oxygen, you're also calming your nervous system, lowering your stress levels, and even boosting your energy. Pretty amazing, right? And that's not all. Breathing also plays a crucial role in talking, singing, and even smelling. Try holding your breath and doing any of those things. Not so easy, is it? Okay, so we've talked about the main parts of the respiratory system and why breathing is so important, but how does it actually work? How does oxygen get from the air into our bloodstream, and how do we get rid of carbon dioxide? Well, buckle up, because it's time for a crash course in gas exchange. Remember those spongy lungs we talked about earlier? Well, inside those lungs are millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. These alveoli are surrounded by teeny tiny blood vessels called capillaries. When you breathe in, oxygen fills up the alveoli. And because oxygen loves to hang out with the hemoglobin in your red blood cells, it jumps across from the alveoli into the capillaries. Meanwhile, the carbon dioxide that's been hanging out in your blood jumps into the alveoli, ready to be breathed out. And that, my friends, is the great gas swap in action.